Today's show covers the question, is click-through rate an organic ranking factor? I get asked this so many times, so today I just want to explore this subject and help you understand why this may or may not be a ranking factor. So we'll be covering what is organic CTR in the first place. That's important to understand. Is it a ranking factor, and how do I improve that organic click-through rate as well? So firstly, let's start with what is organic CTR. So CTR is click-through rate, so the percentage of clicks that occur as a result of your URL, your page showing in the search results. So I'm just searching for a random query, what makes a good foot massage on Google, and we can see there's a rich snippet here. And then a bunch of different questions that we might want to ask, some video results in the video stack, and then the organic results. So what we're talking about here is the click-through rate, the percentage of clicks that these links here get. Okay, so effectively for every 100 searches, every 100 impressions, so this result showing how many people click, divide one by the other, and you will get a click-through rate. So is that click-through rate a ranking factor? So let's have a think about what affects that click-through rate. So there are a bunch of things that would affect that click-through rate. So we know that results in first position would get a greater click-through rate than position 2, position 3, position 5, 10, and certainly position 100. If you want to see this, then you can head into your Search Console account. I hope you've got this set up. And you can see the total impressions, clicks, click-through rate, average positions, and so forth. But then you can look at individual search queries and you can see the click-through rate for those queries and the average position. So remember, this is your rankings will change depending on device, location, search history of the user, a whole bunch of other factors. So this is just an average. So we can see here we've had 882 impressions, we've got a 27.4% click-through rate, and we're in position 1.9 on average in the organic results. So that has a very strong click-through rate, and then 32% position 1, but then also, you know, the other way around, we've got 12.5%. So there could be a number of factors that cause that, so remember that we might have the local maps stack as well, which means it may be somebody's looking for the phone number to call this business, and they can find that without clicking through to the website because it's displayed in the Google search results. So that's why you might get a low click-through rate there. So we know that the position would affect click-through rate, but that's not really a fair way to assess your click-through rate. So if your ranking is in position 3, but you're getting a lower click-through rate than someone in position 1, then that's not really fair because naturally they would get a better click-through rate in position 1 than you would, of course. So there is an average click-through rate, and there will be a weighting system, I'm sure, behind Google's search algorithm that will say, you know, typically the click-through rate in position 1 for this query, remember this is working for every single search query, and the system, the machine learning, is constantly learning and updating. So if you are outperforming the typical average click-through rate of position 3 for that query and you're in position 4, then in all likelihood your ranking should improve. So effectively you have to think about your click-through rate in the context of the click-through rate of other results around you, and if you are outperforming them because your snippet, your listing looks more compelling and it's getting clicks that others aren't, then you could expect reasonably your rank to improve. Conversely, if if you're not looking at your title and description and others around you are improving their titles and descriptions, then all things being equal everywhere else around the dozens and dozens of ranking signals and ranking factors, then you could see yourself slipping down. So, that's important to keep an eye on those. So the title tag itself and the meta description would have an impact on click-through rate. So if I am searching Google for what makes a good foot massage, then your title tag being relevant to that is going to increase the click-through rate. But also, how compelling is your title tag? So easy ways to give a foot massage. How to give a foot massage, how to massage feet, 12 techniques, 10 tips, how to give a foot massage, 7 benefits, okay? So now this is kind of less relevant. What I'm asking is, what makes a good foot massage? Whereas this is 7 benefits of a foot massage. That's not really, on the face of it, that doesn't look like it's going to answer my query. Same with these. So these are ranked lower down. That's not just because the content is answering my specific query. There are lots of other factors, remember. So it could be the number of external links, it could be the domain authority of this particular domain, could be a number of other factors. But certainly why I would choose to click that link rather than another one to answer my query would be relevance, but also how compelling that is. So as we go further down, let's look onto the second page. Okay, we start getting into, okay, how to massage your foot, part 2, techniques, great. What else have we got here? Our foot massage is good. So this is from Quora, the question and answer site. And this kind of answers that query, but it's much lower down. It could be because the depth of content is quite small. It could be because that headline doesn't answer my specific query. It could be because there are fewer external links. Again, there could be multiple factors. But certainly you can have some impact on click-through rate by optimizing your titles, your meta titles and your meta descriptions. That's not just to jam them with keywords and things, but to make it more compelling to a user, effectively to sell the click. There is a good reason why you should click this link. That would also go for the meta description. So this part here would also have some impact. Okay, so if this looks relevant, again, I may click that. And the other thing is as well that if I've visited your site before, or you're a popular site, like if I'm looking for an e-commerce product and I see an Amazon query, I know that brand, I trust that brand, I'm much more likely to click that result as well, a bit like a Google ad. So the next thing to consider is the length of the query itself. So some studies have been done, and a short query like foot massage, okay, the click-through rate on organic results is lower than what we call a long tail query. So that would be more like what makes a good foot massage. So these are multiple word keywords or multiple word queries, and the reason for that is kind of fairly simple, really. That when a user first starts searching Google, they may not know too much detail about the subject that they're searching for, or quite what question to ask. So they might start with foot massage, and then maybe how to give a good foot massage, or maybe which oils should I use for a foot massage, or something like that. So again, those longer tail queries tend to have higher click-through rates, but remember, it's the query that's creating that click-through rate. So the first 5 or 6 results would all get a higher click-through rate for that query than if the same 5 or 6 pages were displayed for a slightly shorter query, a more generic one. So that can have some impact, but you're not really going to have a huge amount of control over that. So how can you improve the organic click-through rate? So some tips really that we've already covered almost, which are make your title tag relevant, make it compelling. So very much like a Google ad, there's a concept with creating a Google ad where you would include the keyword that you're bidding on in the headline to make it relevant. I'm searching for what makes a good foot massage. So if the title of your title tag matches that almost exactly, then I know that I'm finding the right, that it's relevant. It's exactly answering my question. But you can also make that more compelling. So 10 tips, 12 techniques, the 10-minute guide to make you the ultimate foot massage master, whatever that might be. So again, think about how compelling that is, and the same as we would with a Google ad. So you want that relevant headline and try and make it compelling. You've got more room here than you would in a Google ad. Try and think about including a benefit statement, particularly if this is a product. So what am I going to learn? What am I going to understand? Why? How is this going to save me time? How is this going to save me money? Why is this the best thing that I should click on? And also consider including a call to action. So it could be download our guide now, or watch our 5-minute video, or download our white paper, or whatever that might be. So consider that, and again, experiment with those. That could improve your click-through rate as well. So ultimately, does click-through rate affect your organic ranking? So Google has stated absolutely not, quite a few times, but there are lots of discussions and lots of kind of experiments that have been done that would strongly suggest that Google does use this as an organic ranking factor. But let's just think this through. The whole point of having your website is that you want more visitors and more traffic. The whole point of doing SEO, if you're investing in that, is that you want more traffic coming through to your website. So whether Google regards click-through rate as a ranking factor or not, you should be optimizing to try and improve click-through rate, because even if you invested a couple of months of your time going and optimizing titles and descriptions and experimenting with that, and you improved the click-through rate without even improving rankings, if you increased your click-through rate by 10%, you're going to get 10% more traffic, right? So regardless of whether Google thinks this is a ranking factor, absolutely you do want to focus on click-through rate. Now, the second thing to think about is that Google's job is to deliver the best results, the best answer to your question, which is why they mess about with these, they experiment with rich snippets, they experiment with these additional queries that you might want. They put in a video stack, they put in the organic stack, they will put ads for some and not others. So depending on your query, the content of the search results changes quite significantly, and it's always learning about which of these results get the best click-through rate. So when people type this in, do they typically go and watch a video? Do they click on one of these? Do they click the rich snippet? Do they click on the organic results? So this same query, if you tried this in 3 months or in your location rather than mine, you might get a different set of results because the audience behaves in a slightly different way, or Google is going to learn over the next 6 months and find that actually the response from this particular query is more people click on a video result, in which case maybe this video pack is going to be 6 videos rather than 3, pushing the organic links further down. Maybe videos don't get as good a click-through rate here, in which case maybe we'll see 2 or 3 or 4 organic listings here and the video pack pushed a little further down. So that's going to change constantly, and for this specific query, if Google starts moving up the video pack or moving it down, or any other query for that matter, if it moves that up or down, then that's going to affect your click-through rate for those search queries. So just because your click-through rate for a particular keyword dropped off a cliff from 1 month to another does not mean to say that your organic ranking dropped. It could mean that Google just moved a video pack or introduced one where there wasn't one before. So that could affect your click-through rate quite significantly. So just going back to that point then, so if Google's job is to deliver the best results, surely one of the measurements of what is the best result is how many people click that result to go and look at that web page. So we know for absolute certainty that in Google Ads, click-through rate is a huge factor in the quality score. So it stands to reason that the click-through rate should be a factor logically in the Google search algorithm. But in summary, even if it isn't, CTR is really, really important to you. So work hard on those titles and descriptions. There are more shows like this coming up. If you've enjoyed this, please give it a like. I'd love to hear your comments. So comment below the video and we'll answer those questions as best we can. and subscribe now for more videos coming up.